Yes, that's our artist of the week. Some of you are probably wondering, who the holy is this? Well, ask mommy and daddy. They will tell you that that is Alex Okorigwe, popularly known as Alex O. Yes, that is him. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ayo. And by the way, you guys are doing a great job here. Beautiful job you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Helping the nation, helping the society. Kudos.
Well, the same way you also helped us in growing up.
Well,
my director said I should ask you, what happened to all your hair? Let's start from there.
Oh, my God. One thing that's constant in life is change.
Why did I think you would say that?
Because that's what the explanation.
But you know, well, there has been a lot of change between the 90s and now. There are for those who are wondering, well, he did that popular song, hit song, Celebrate. And we played it this morning, I think, by the way.
Okay.
Of course, come on. Now, that song, of course, became a global disco hit in the 90s. But between then and now, it's been quite a journey.
Yes.
Now, and the music scene has since changed.
Completely.
You know, back then we had a semblance of the music industry. A&R and all those things were there. Concerts were held by, you know, recording companies.
Yes.
You know, but how much of that has changed from between then and now? Let me also put this in before you know, respond. You know, back in your own day, you had to contest and compete with foreign music.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like the same these days, is it?
Yes, it's where do I start now? Now, the thing is, during that time, there were only very few record companies. And so that meant that there were only very few opportunities for the numerous talented musicians to have their way to come out and be heard. So you needed to compete. Each record company had an A&R, artist and repertoire department, and whatever you bring to them, they have to put it through the department. It's the department that will go through it and call the head of the sales manager, manage the sales department, and ask, can we sell this? What do you think this...
Will it sell?
Yes.
Will it not?
Work?
So we don't invest wrongly.
I'm telling you. So they needed to do all that. And for your music to be accepted, you know, to be released, you have to do a bit of homework. You have to do... Your lyrics have to make sense. Your melody lines, the way everything is all put together, the beat, everything has to make sense. In the middle of about 1,000 other tips that they have there, you know, and people are waiting.
So that's what they call music sampling at the time.
Yes, and you have to be lucky, you have to be hardworking, you have to be very creative, and you have to have God Almighty on your side. For you to be able to, you know, sometimes when I see some of my colleagues who were also trying that time, but not all of us were lucky. So I count ourselves to have been lucky, and we made good use of the opportunity.
Perhaps one other thing to add to that would be the role of musicianship. Because you had to know how to do something.
Yes, I agree.
Not just to you know, not just behind a keyboard.
If you had asked me the question you always ask at the end of every interview, what's your advice for the younger coming? Because I'm expecting that to come. So I prepared for you. Now, that's a part of the answer to what you just asked me right now. It's out of luck. If somebody puts a beat together, you hum something on top of it, and people like it, okay, you're just lucky. You have to know how to be able to put music together. You have to be able to know how to not only write a song, but how will it work with the beat, with the drums, with the keyboards, you understand? Before you even bring a producer in. Otherwise, you can only have a good stuff when there's a good creative producer who is in a very good creative mode to be able to interpret, you understand, what you just brought and how best it can be worked. If you meet a producer who is in a bad mood or who is at his low creative time of his life or whatever it is, it's not going to give you the best. But if you yourself are able to play the keyboard or the guitar or at least a couple of things that can help you to put the music together. So when the producer comes, the rest of the job is a lot easier. You understand? For example, they Celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah, and some of those songs in that particular maxi single, I did more or less like 90%.
Oh wow!
And they now brought the big producer who is more experienced than Lemmy Jackson. He now came and then put this, added this, and.
No, back in those days, if Lemmy Jackson hasn't touched your album, I don't know where you're coming from.
Yes, he was the best we had.
Yeah.
You know, he's still good. He's still somewhere there working as well. So my complete answer would be, you have to know how to at least put music together.
Okay.
Yes, and be able to organize it in such a way that, yes, it's good music, and then the producer comes and helps you. Otherwise, you make a hit and everybody's expecting another hit song. That was just luck.
So that's not hit. That's just luck.
Luck, yes. And then these days you have so many artists every day coming out.
We'll get to that. But you know, what you just said now, I mean, it reminds me of something that we still do.
Okay.
I worked in the music library of a radio station.
Okay.
So at a point, I mean, these guys will come with loads of songs and say, that one, that's a hit song. That one, that's the hit. And I'll listen to the thing. Gosh, I couldn't stick it for 10 seconds.
Yes.
And I had like three, you know, in the days of the CDs, I had like 10 to listen to. 10 albums, average 10 tracks each. I have to listen to all of them to be able to recommend, you know, this one is airworthy, this one is not airworthy, what we call, you know, in broadcasting, not to be broadcast. But you spoke about lyrics. Just now, that your song has to make sense.
Yes.
Compare that to now.
Yes. During our days, you know, you had to work hard. You had to be as creative as possible.
Well, they don't call it work hard anymore. They call it hustle now.
Okay. With the lyrics, it has to. Somebody listening to it, even without being put into a music form, somebody should be able to stop and say, what's that guy saying?
Saying?
Yes. It makes a lot of sense. When I put Celebrate together, okay, it's a birthday song. Yeah, people like your birthday. Okay, happy birthday. Good. What about the beat? Yeah, it's the swing beat, everybody dancing. But I needed something that would make people laugh, to make people remember the song quickly after it's been played. They will want to say and that's why I brought that pidgin rap into it. And that pidgin rap was the first rap in pidgin.
Wow.
Make we take some time to bubble and shuffle after all the hustle and bustle. Everybody wants celebrate, but nobody want talking age. If you just go ask that Lagos mama, say, how many years should they celebrate? She go holla and shout back at you, now waiting be your business. I fit celebrate 21 today, they say, the last time now 22, the next one fit be 20. So just bubble and shuffle and forget about my age. That's one funny thing that was going on around that time, because we had these girls from the campuses, you know, when you go,
they're always 16.
Yes. So, they're
always 16. Yes. One of them is in the studio now.
Good. And that caught on. That was one of the things that also helped the song. So it's more like...
But how do you think that plays out these days? Do you think we still give as much importance or preference to lyrics as we did before?
Yes. In music, everything has to come together. So now it's even much more so. And if you have, okay, look at it this way. At this particular time in this country, in fact, all over the world, if you want to say, people want to dance. Dance. You put some piece of music, somebody starts to shake. You understand? So if you have a very good beat that people can dance to, that the DJs can mix into what they're doing and keeping people on the dance floor, that's one. then what you're saying will be able to move it to the next step, you understand?
Yeah.
And then you start to talk about your videos and the promo and all that.
Very interesting.
So it all has to come together.
How do you feel about the fact that Nigerian music is in clubhouses all over the world today? Even in stadia, they play Nigerian musicians, young guys, in stadia all over the world. How does that make you feel?
Yes, I feel very happy. I feel like God decided to answer our prayers because those were the things we were fighting for during our days. We were trying, but you know what the problem was? Technology has changed everything. Yes. During our days, you were giving only about, let's say, 8 studio sessions of 8 hours each to do like 10 songs. That's a very short period of time for you to rush it. But these days, these guys own their own studios. Everybody owns, they own, because every studio, you can have your studio on your laptop.
What does it even take to have a studio?
You can now take your time and work on your music and make sure that it comes out the way you want it to come out.
But another thing that, haunted your generation, if I can, use the word, is that, foreign artists who are brought in willy-nilly. If there was ever going to be a big concert, it's the foreign artists that headlined.
Yes, and not only that, the radio stations were only playing, you understand, and that's what drove, only playing foreign artists.
Don't mind them.
Yes, and that's what drove some of us towards trying to sound like them, do what they were doing, and, so it was a whole lot of issues that needed to be addressed. So as time, in fact, during that time on radio, you have Music Nigeriana, RN2 and a couple of other stations.
They know themselves.
Yes. So where they play, then the rest of the time, it's all
foreign.
American. Yes. So, but as time went on, and trust Nigerians, wherever they are, if they are enabled, if they are equipped, they will always excel. The music is sounding much better now. You know why? Because everybody has a studio.
Beside that is the fact that, look, today, I mean, I find it very, very amazing. I host events, and the elderly ones in their 50s and 60s, you say, okay, let's play old school for them. They say they want Nigerian music. Say,
yes, and also, I think if nobody has said it, let me say it, that what these younger guys are doing today came to be as a result of the fusion and experimentations and things that we
There is no doubt. There is no doubt about it. I will give it. I mean, that's one of the reasons you are here. The Felix Debatis, the Chris Okoties, and all those. Your generation. That cannot be remonstrated because, in fact, I think it was even your own generation that started, synchronizing music. Because back then, if you in the 80s, if you couldn't play hard, you couldn't. But I mean, I think it was the 90s that brought in this.
We actually, Michael Cree and Blackie, and I, for one, actually started sequencing music. Because I needed the beats to be as accurately quantized like the ones, you understand?
Exactly,
so
people are listening
and Lemmy Jackson, with all the experience he had.
There's a question I'm not going to ask you, which you want me to ask you, which is what's my advice? They're taking the advice, but I'm interested in the industry that we need to restore. So the few minutes that we have left, what have we missed in terms of having an established or well-established music industry that not just anybody can just saunter into? And so that, I mean, our music is all over the place, but do we have an industry to sustain it?
Yes, I think, I think that at some point, government has to come in and introduce some kind of regulation, maybe through the Ministry of Arts and Culture or something. They need to monitor what everybody is doing and see how they can advise, and also cut down on the straying, towards the whole lot of immoral things, the drugs, so it just spoils everything. And when you talk about the younger artists coming up, most of the times, it's all about funding. Some very good artists, who are very good, who can do it, and they don't get funding, they don't get access. These days, it's like if you have an uncle who is rich, and it's okay, they will call this person and put the money, but then maybe what he has is not good enough, but you push it and force it onto the public. You know, if there is
catches on.
Yes, and sometimes it catches on, sometimes it doesn't. You know, and a whole lot of money is wasted and nothing comes out of it. Some artists.
So do you think regulation will help?
I think so, even in the film industry as well.
Okay.
You know, I think so.
Well, let me call this the first of many conversations we've had, because my director is drumming into my ears that I need to pay some bills. But I have to thank you very much this morning for coming here and honoring us. Alex O.
And thank you very much for putting me in front of my fans, old and young. When you go and ask your mom and your dad, yes. But I'm working on some new stuff.
Oh, most certainly, yes. We can see that. I mean, the ones that we played, some of them are not old.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
so
yes.
we will find you out.
Thank you.
And just stay in touch. Most certainly.
Thank you very much.
Okay, this one, for instance, old or new? I guess we'll wait to see. Wow, that is Sunrise today. Thank you. We're closing that out with Alex O this morning. You do have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a beautiful week ahead. Don't forget, we have only one nation. Everything you do or don't do will make it better or worse. Have a wonderful rest of your time. Bye for now. I'm Ayo Makinde.